How does the pension system break down? And the largest of these obligations is pensions, because this is where the math stops adding up fastest. Most pension systems in the world operate on a pay-as-you-go basis. That is, people working today pay taxes. From these taxes, the state pays pensions to those who are already retired. The system relies on a balance where there are enough workers and not too many pensioners. In the 1960s, in developed countries, there were about 5 workers per pensioner. 5 people chipped in to support one. The system worked comfortably. Today, on average, according to the OECD, this ratio is 3-to-1. In Japan, it is 2-to-1. In Italy, it is approaching 2. By 2050, according to forecasts, many countries will have 1.5 workers per pensioner. 1.5 people will have to support 1. Do you feel where this is going? Either taxes on workers will rise to unbearable levels, or pensions will fall to miserable amounts, or the retirement age will be raised so high that people will work until 70 and beyond. Most likely, all of this will happen at once, a bit at a time, but even small changes already cause unrest. In 2023, in France, President Macron announced an increase in the retirement age from 62 to 64. It does not sound dramatic, just 2 years, but more than 1 million people took to the streets. Transport workers, refuse collectors, and teachers went on strike shoulder to shoulder. Paris was buried in rubbish, and protests lasted for weeks. The government pushed the law through via a constitutional workaround without a full parliamentary vote. Polls showed that more than 2/3 of the French were against it. But Macron insisted. Without this, the pension system would fall into a 13 billion deficit by 2030. France spends almost 15% of GDP on pensions, one of the highest figures in the world. And in the United States, the country's main pension system, the Social Security Fund, is forecast to be depleted by 2034. If nothing changes, payments will automatically be cut by 25%. And this is the official government forecast. While the pension problem is swelling, healthcare is already crumbling. Elderly people fall ill more often and at higher cost. In Japan, a person over 85 spends on average 7 times more on healthcare than a 40-year-old. The problem is not only money, it is people. In Germany, for example, a shortage of 240,000 healthcare workers is forecast by 2030. In Japan, according to government estimates, an additional 700,000 elderly care specialists will be needed by 2026. Where to find them is unclear, because care work is hard and poorly paid. Young people do not want to enter the profession, while demand grows every year. And when systems fail to cope, tragedies begin. In 2020, the pandemic hit care homes around the world. In Canada, soldiers sent to help in care homes in Quebec and Ontario discovered horrific conditions. Residents were left in dirty nappies for hours, not fed, not given water. Some died of dehydration, not the virus. And in France, in 2022, a scandal erupted around one of the country's largest care home networks, Orpea. Journalist Victor Castanet published an investigation describing systemic abuse. Residents were starved, savings were made on nappies, and people were left lying in their own excrement. A government inspection confirmed the facts. Orpea's shares collapsed by 70%, and management was placed under investigation. These stories are not isolated. They show that even in prosperous countries, basic care for the elderly can fail, not because of poverty, but because of a lack of oversight, staff, and human attitude. At the same time, the third pillar, the labor market, is collapsing. In Japan, there are currently 1.3 vacancies per job seeker. That is, employers offer more jobs than there are people willing to take them. In Germany, there are 2 million unfilled vacancies. In the US, after the pandemic, 3 million people retired early and did not return. There is a shortage of teachers, truck drivers, builders, plumbers, electricians. Entire professions are aging and young people are not going into them. Companies begin to compete for people as fiercely as they once competed for contracts. They raise wages, offer flexible schedules, bonuses, but there are still not enough people because there are physically fewer of them. In Japan, thousands of small businesses close every year, not because of losses, but because the owner retires and there is no one to pass the business on to. An economy built on growth suddenly discovers that its main resource people is running out, and running out fast. But what comes next? Collapse, stagnation, a reset, or adaptation?